50 years ago, America passed the 28th Amendment,
virtually enslaving anyone with special abilities into government service, or forcing them to live as ordinary citizens.
With his team disbanded,
America's foremost protector and hero for a century had been betrayed by the very institution he swore to serve. Erased from its history books, his every exploit was covered up. Now, in a place called Little Bighorn, the greatest hero America has forgotten will come out of retirement to take down the very institution he once served,
assembling a new team of superpowered individuals wielding abilities never before witnessed.
In a country that has banned its heroes, it's time to root for the criminals. Let's start a new revolution.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, this is Scoop from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Welcome to the new Monday show. It's going to be a call-in show, basically just to hang out. There's going to be weeks where it's just me yakking by myself, and then there's going to be weeks where I'll have a panel full. I used to do this all the time. I had an open format show called The Hangout, which I changed to The Hangover. And then for a little while, I did the Breaking Bunny show, which was structured. And then I did the What's Next. But What's Next is so important that, not being too wore out to really do my research and line it up bothered me. So I moved it to Thursday, starting with Mr. Jared Chrisman. And that seemed to work out better. So I'm going to start running that show on Thursdays so I can have a couple days to figure out what the topic's going to be or what the guest is going to be. And it's going to work better later in the week. Now, still thinking about the Friday and what I'm going to do on a Friday or a Tuesday. Wednesdays are pretty much off. Also, I got some morning content that I'm going to start up. Going to revive my live writing show because I need to get some writing done. And I don't seem to be motivated unless I have a camera on me. So I'm going to start doing that pretty shortly. Now, think about this show being open format. A couple weeks back, when I couldn't think of a topic for what's next, I just went ahead and just opened up the floor. Had a bunch of people that showed an interest and hopping on, and we had a pretty open discussion. I usually try to do this early enough that I don't overlap with Matt Barr, his show, Occasionally I'll go on there. It's now called the Frickin' Awesome Show. Name change for significant reason. Oh, looks like Shadowpunk in the chat. Why aren't you on the panel, man? What's wrong, man? What's going on? Come on, dude. Throw me a bone here. Anyway. Well, so reason why call-in show is so much better for a Monday. James Craig, what's up, dude? Hey. Reason why call-in show seems to fit better for a Monday is because everybody, starting back to work, got a hangover from the weekend, and probably a lot of stuff happened over the weekend that they want to talk about. And usually Twitter kind of like unloads on Mondays, kind of like the baggage. People usually get busy over the weekends and don't go on social media. So Mondays are the days that they really kind of like unload on some stuff. And so today was no different. So right now, I don't, full disclosure, I'm not a Warhammer 40k player or fan, but what's starting to happen to that fandom looks extraordinarily familiar. Now, it's pretty much, you can follow the same pattern that happened to Wizards of the Coast, and it happened to BattleTech, and now it's starting to happen to Warhammer 40k. Now people are like, hey, that's just one change. They're just making one change, to this one group of people that were exclusively male. They're just putting one female in. What's the big deal, dude? Why is everybody freaking out? Well, because that is how it starts. Okay. Now, what really is insidious, and you see this happen a lot it happened Wizard of the Coast, happened to BattleTech, and it's happened all throughout the fandoms like AAA gaming and things like that, is when people start calling out those changes and start saying what's going on here, suddenly they get gaslit. That is the warning sign. Oh, what changes? What are you talking about? It's always been this way. As soon as you see that, that the woke mind virus is infected your favorite fandom, and you can just go ahead and start, expecting it to start speeding up pretty quickly. Hell Bunny, what's up, Woke Breaker? Good to see you, dude. If you want to pop on, man, you know where the link is. But so what I'm seeing with 40k is I'm seeing a lot of the same things that have happened to like fandoms, and it's the same pattern. It happens over and over and over again. Okay, the fandom is established, the lore is established. Everybody, where's the link? Well, the link, I'll send you one directly, dude. Hold on. 1 second, everybody. Aha. For Cavill, it seems almost out of spite. Yeah. Henry Cavill, man, he just can't catch a break, can he? It's like they follow him around or something, man. I mean, it's really, really strange what happens to that dude. Sorry, James. I thought we were part of the same DM group there, dude. I put the link in those DM groups I thought we shared. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second here. Let me get the invite. Copy. All right. Oh, righty. Here we go. Okay, James. Got it, dude. And Anyway, Henry needs a partner with somebody trustworthy to start his own IP. Yeah, he really does. Now Blaine Pardo, who's probably the best writer that BattleTech's ever had, and he's one of the best writers, probably period. Now he was right. He basically put BattleTech on the map with his book series, and suddenly, because he happens to hold, shall we say, more based opinions. Welcome to the show, Mr. James Craig.
I'm the source of based opinions. Thank you.
No, Blaine Pardo. Blaine Pardo. Yeah, from
how's it going? I saw this video appear on my YouTube homepage, and I was like, Jesus, how long has it been since I've spoken to this man?
It's been a little while. Hold on a second. Starting a new IP is harder than rebooting something. These guys want sure things. Yeah. Basically, Blaine Pardo, once BattleTech became so woke that they basically booted him out. They started writing him out of stuff. They started making, or holding events and not informing him and things like that. This dude basically put BattleTech on the map, and they throws him out. So what does he do? He goes and collects with some other guys and makes Land and Sea, which is kind of like
I was talking with John Douglas about that. He thinks that is the only real contender right now for an alternative.
Right. But 40K, I mean, it's one change. Everybody's like, well, you're just freaking out. Well, why are you freaking out over this one change? Well, because the change was to a group that was exclusively male from the foundation of the book, of the whole entire lore. And it was exclusively male. And as a matter of fact, it was impossible for a female to be one of these. They're called custodes. Yeah. And then suddenly, not only there you go. Well, not only
I am a 40K player.
You're a 40K player. All right, so you know what's going on. But they actually.
Yeah, I take it you missed my video where I was basically trolling about this.
Well, I must have. I haven't watched a lot today. Hold on 1 second. Shadowpunk says exactly. Shadowpunk is sure things end up not being sure things because they don't know how to leave things alone. Work hard, come up with an IP no one can play in, right? And said you nailed it. Woke breaker, yeah. Well, what people don't understand is this is just the first step of the infiltration. Okay, this is actually a first outward sign that an infiltration's already taken place. This means that it's already far enough along that it's starting to affect policy. And go ahead.
So there was a reasonable conspiracy leaked to 4chan.
Okay.
And the important thing is that you may have heard it that this was because of the Amazon deal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So the rumor going around is that Amazon demanded a woman in power armor. And they wouldn't accept Sisters of Battle. They wouldn't accept an Inquisitor. They wouldn't accept any of that. No. It had to be Space Marines because Amazon said so.
Right.
And there was basically a mishap because they were trying to prime. They figured that Custodes was the smallest change to get the Amazon deal to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the social media managers kind of bungled it without deferring to a crisis management team when people noticed.
Right.
So the claim from this alleged whistleblower is that very soon those social media managers are going to be out of a job.
Oh, okay.
And also in that claim, they're saying that, no, actually, they were just trying to get this Amazon deal to go. They know that their customers will riot. They don't want to endanger the sales of their minis or any of that. I'm not sure I buy it. I haven't seen social media managers get fired. If I do, I'd believe it. But until they get fired, the rot is in, my dude.
Yeah, and that's why you should start hitting the alarm bells right now. Well, let's see. What's up, Aaron? It was okay. Hey, welcome, Frost Comics. Here we go. Obsessive 4K people are even taking over this show.
I'm a science fiction author, Shadowpunk.
Yeah, it's kind of a prerequisite.
Yeah, so to give the short version of my video that I called trolling,
yeah,
a lot of people are like, gatekeep your hobbies. And honestly,
Right.
I think that's the stupidest thing people could be doing right now, because that just means being toxic to other customers,
right.
which is just giving ammunition to the infiltrators.
Yeah.
And the point of my video was the only actual gatekeeping is if you get a stake in the company that owns the IP. You have
Right.
to get a job at GW. You have to go become their community manager, their Discord moderator. You have
Right.
to get into their HR department.
Mhm.
Because that is how the leftists got in and did this. If you
Exactly.
are not willing to do what they are willing to do, you
Right.
will lose your IP.
Well, HR is is basically the site of infection for all of this. It happens at every single company because HR only hires people for the grievance study degrees. And yeah, people are wondering where all these grievance study degree people are going to get a job. Well, they get jobs in HR. That's exactly where they go. You want a DEI director? Well, they get them from these grievance study programs out of these universities that are writing, and so basically what happens is, we need to hire HR. We're getting big enough. We need to hire HR.
Oh, we need this DEI consultancy company to come in and tell us how we're wrong.
Exactly. And so that's where they get them from. People were wondering for years. It's like, what do? They just become baristas, right? No, they get into HRs. That's where my company a few years ago, right? It's happened right after COVID. This has happened to a lot of companies right after COVID. They came back, and because they laid off everybody and things like that, people found that that's a time to retire. And a lot of them retired out of HRs. And suddenly all these university grads come into these HRs. And we're getting a change in our handbook that says now the harassment is defined by the feelings of the quote unquote harassed and not the actions of the harasser. And people were like, what's the difference? That's a huge difference, okay? Because depending on the day, depending on how that person took what you said to them, is whether or not they're harassed or not. And that is terrifying, okay? But this has gotten into, it just ate up Wizards of the Coast. My God, Wizards of the Coast is gone. Complete wash now. But let's see. Hold a second. Their ammunition will never end either way, right? HR parasites, right? And maybe busybodies is a better phrase. Well, it's a possibility. But basically, essentially, formerly HRs were like the interface between the employee and the employer, but they basically were slanted towards the employer. But that's
the biggest lie that was fed through the 90s and 2000s. The function of HR is to protect the company from employee lawsuits.
Exactly. But the difference now is these HRs don't even have their employer's best interest at heart. They have a higher ideological calling. They're the jihad. Okay, they are jihadists of this new religion. And they will make decisions that just basically destroy their companies. My company right now is just like gutted.
I mean, they act in a second order manner, which is why they're able to get away with it.
Right.
Because when HR is the first line that goes over resumes before the people who do the work.
Yeah.
The managers of, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons core rule development will never have the opportunity to hire Chuck Grognard, the 30-year dungeon master veteran.
No,
because HR will just go, he's problematic.
Exactly. And it has nothing to do with his experience, has nothing to do with his ability, has everything to do with what he was born with. And that's the terrifying thing. What to do, homies and homie? Yeah, say PNB. What's up, dude? And that's the real terrifying thing is this is straight out of like early 1940s Germany. Okay, this is straight out of their rule book. And that is you marginalize, you dehumanize, and then you push out a whatever selected group of people you want to do that with. And the same people that will call you the N-word on streams and on Twitter rants or whatever.
I wouldn't be offended getting called that.
Well, me neither. Me neither. At this point, it's almost a badge of honor. But yeah.
I just asked, hold on, did I get a pass?
Yeah.
Turnabout's fair play, right?
That's that Winnie P's unemployable. Well, what I was talking about is the N-A-Z-Z word. There.
Oh, that word.
That word, yeah. Okay. The other N word. That will get me demonetized for just barely mentioning it on YouTube. But
what?
Anyway,
you're monetized?
Well, I mean, eventually,
suppressed.
Right? Suppressed. I meant suppressed. Yeah, they'll suppress the crap out of me for saying. But the bottom line though is when you see what's happening with Warhammer 40k, and the first thing they try to do is like, well, this is just a small change, But the thing about it is if they didn't have, there you go, right. But they already have a group of militant women who are armored and are every bit, this badass group of women. That I believe they're. I saw it's a kind of a complicated name. You know what I'm talking about?
The Sisters of Battle.
That's it. Yeah.
Nuns with guns.
Exactly. So they already have this in Warhammer, and it's part of the lore. And so,
yes, women are also in the Imperial Assassins and those operatives. They are in the Imperial Guard. Right. They are in, arguably, the Eldar and the Tau all have their females.
Right.
The Orcs are agendered hooligans, essentially, because they're fungals.
Right.
Right. So the problem, though, is this is 40k. It's Space Marines, the game. There's like 17 versions of Imperial Space Marines, and then like 7 versions of Chaos Space Marines.
Right.
And that's the majority of armies. And then the other half is sharing things like Tyranids, which aren't gendered. They're sharing Necrons, which aren't gendered.
Right.
The list goes on with all this wild stuff that's in 40k. Yeah, there is the Sisters of Battle. It is an all-female religious force to be the representation.
Well, but there's like this one group of guys that was basically, I believe they gave up like royal families would give up a son to be a part of this.
The Custodies that arguably shouldn't even be in 40k because they're an ancient technology. They're like extra ancient Supermarines that were for the God Emperor.
Right.
So the lore is actually pretty stretched. They just thought they would make a buck selling a new version of Super Space Marines.
There you go.
Freaking hate Custodies. Like, mechanically, I despise the Custodies.
Okay, right. Well, I'll definitely take your word for it. I'm just a noob in all of this. But when I see people who have been in a like a fandom going back like decades, suddenly sounding an alarm that this is significantly wrong. I really pay attention to that. I mean,
they're sounding the alarm because it's like the last bastion. And we've seen how this goes in every other company.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a long-time 40k player. I actually started playing a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I grew up being a Magic the Gathering player.
Oh, right. You're
Magic
homeless.
the Gathering went woke like a decade ago.
Right, yeah.
I was being matched against people in Antifa shirts at the local Grand Prix.
Okay, well, like, oh,
And that didn't really put a dent in the player base. You know what
right.
killed Magic? It wasn't it going woke.
What killed it?
Yorion. Like, specifically, that card killed
Huh.
Magic.
Wow.
Or rather, that set that brought in Yorion, because it also brought in
Mhm.
Fury and Solitude.
Okay.
They printed 3 cards that were
Mhm.
so overwhelmingly powerful, and I guess Murktide Regent is in there too. They're
Mhm.
just so overwhelmingly powerful that if you weren't playing those cards in
Yeah.
their respective colors, you could not win.
Oh, wow.
You would have like a 40% win rate.
And so I know that you could like just buy these cards outright. So whoever had the most money,
Well,
it
yeah.
pretty
So if
much
you
gets
need 4,
unbeatable.
when I quit, my
Mhm.
deck would have needed 4 Furies. If I remember right, each copy of Fury was $35.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Rangeski moment missing 100% of the shots ain't an option, right? Well,
Yeah,
well,
so
go ahead.
when companies start going woke,
Yep.
they are bleeding the actual talent that makes the fundamental game work,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and it's going to collapse.
Well, I saw AAA gaming, when the feminist frequency and all that started up, Zoe Quinn and all them started agitating for more representation. Well, what most people don't realize is within less than 5 years, I've seen a picture before and I've seen pictures after. And the pictures before are a bunch of autistic nerds hanging out, of these game companies, these guys, you can tell they're just socially awkward, just like safe with each other, and they're just hanging out. And there might be 1 or 2 ladies there. But then, like, less than like 5 years later, you see, and it's like almost the whole entire screen is populated by chicks that are like hugging and loving on each other. And then there's like this one little pocket of nerds in the corner. And that happened like within 5 years. And it's like these guys over here in the corner are still doing all of the basically they're doing all of the coding, but the rest of this group over here who doesn't have any coding knowledge is basically writing all the lore and writing all all the plot lines and stuff like that. And so and also like complaining about the little pocket of guys in the corner, I mean,
Yeah,
because
there's that meme you can find where it's like,
yeah,
"Oh, here's a look at our team," and it's like
right,
Stacy, Caitlin, Jacqueline, yada
right.
yada yada, and there are all these quirky details about them. I think it's the
Yeah,
end. And it's Chad. I code the program.
exactly. Exactly. Well, but I mean, literally, that's what's happening. And so, because of the lack of people who actually have coding knowledge, these games get delayed or whatever. And then, so what happens is they're like, "Oh, we need help." And so what they do, they go, it's like, well,
I don't think that's what's happening, Bunny.
okay, go ahead, tell me.
It's
Correct me.
not lack of coding knowledge.
Mhm,
What typically causes major delays is
mhm,
scope creep, legal changes,
mhm.
top-down direction changes of, "Oh, this other competitor is doing this thing, we need to add this to our game now."
Okay,
And the nonstop push for better and better and better graphics.
right, right. Well, I think that's why mid-tier gaming is really starting to dominate the market, is because of the small teams and
That can
the
pivot fast and,
yeah,
deliver, yeah.
and a lot less bloat in the decision-making department. Plus, you don't have these external groups that are coming in to make sure you're DEI compliant, uh, or I mean ESG compliant. So that kind of is another gate that you have to get through. Uh, which was what the whole Sweet Baby Inc. thing was. A lot of people built that up as being something greater than it was, but it was basically a symptom. It was asymptomatic of something else that was going on. And the thing about it is AAA gaming is probably going to go the way of everything else we've lost. I don't see at this point. I see a lot of mid-tier games really like gaining a lot of momentum. Like let's see, what's the one that had the attractive female and everybody's like freaking out
Stellar
about?
Blade?
Stellar Blade, right? And it's so funny that it's like, you've never seen a female, and he's like, oh, this is my hot Asian wife, and she's like,
That works
hi.
at the company doing the concept art.
Right,
And,
exactly.
I believe she actually helped build the model off of an actual Korean model.
Yes, exactly. And it's like it's like, well, the jiggle mechanics are just wrong, and it's like, well, we based it on this actual lady over here, and she jiggles exactly like that. So
I mean, did you see all the journos losing their shit over Aphrodite from Hades 2? Because, well, don't you know, Hades 2 is on the right side of history, so we can all safely coom over a literal naked woman.
Well, I think they were fine with the bestiality in Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't see anybody pushing back against that.
Okay, so is it really? That's not really what the term means when it's a shapeshifter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like
okay.
that's an elf that's shapeshifted.
Okay, technically, all right.
So, like, I'm pretty sure legally speaking, because like in many countries, producing that and selling that would be illegal if it was actually a bear.
Okay, all right.
Like, there are actual legal considerations to that kind of stuff.
Fair enough, but it is a little bit like, it's a little iffy. I'll say it's a little iffy.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's incredibly degenerate, and basically the entire game is incredibly degenerate because every single character is a easy bisexual. So
yeah. Well,
you may have noticed on Twitter, I'm currently having some drama. I'm just kind of frustrated with regurgitated talking points that people have, and the way certain large name creators are acting right now.
I think we're all about sick of that, to be honest. I totally with you on that. Well, that being said, there are a few like really massive shows that have like shall we say broken up here recently. Some shows that were kind of like 3 or 4 years old, even 5. Well over.
Which ones?
The one in particular that I'm thinking of is Jack's show, which is John Malin. And that Star Wars girl was the A, and then Cecil, and then Kelsey Shannon. And the other night they had a complete meltdown, and it's been declared as being over because Cecil's friends with the Friday Night Tights people. They actually have videos with him like sleeping off a drunk in the hotel with them, and I'm like, this current. This current like drama is probably not going to, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands. And evidently he landed the other night, and it wasn't in the favor. But it is what it is. But
this us versus them purity testing is constantly insane.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of us are just like, I'm going my own way. How about none of the above? How about I'm just friends with whoever I want to be friends with, and let the chips fall where they may, and you guys can battle over there and do your thing, and we're just going to stay in the shade of your battle and just conduct business. And I think pretty much a lot of people have kind of gone the MGTOW like way, Well, just that philosophy is like, oh, okay, well, you guys can have this over here. I'm just gonna I'm gonna peace out, do my own thing. So hopefully there's enough.
I think the vast majority of people are very tuned out on content that was popular 4 years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. But I think honestly, there's I think there's like a reevaluation that's going on, like a renegotiation of relationship. That usually happens when a movement or a person or an individual or a relationship grows to a certain extent where it either ends or it uh you know reaches a new paradigm that they can go forward with. A lot of marriages don't make it through that. A lot of friendships don't make it through that. And a lot of movements have broken up because they've reached that point where the way things have gotten us to this point are no longer they're no longer conducive to continued growth, or they're no longer healthy moving forward. After this point, they're just going to become toxic and insular, and going to destroy everything that happens from this moment on. And so basically, what happens is a renegotiation has to take place to move forward. And the people who were like that found the previous paradigm advantageous are not going to be happy about that, and they're going to try to hold on with with both hands, if it destroys it. And that's usually, the compromise is, as long as there's compromise to be had, then things can move forward. But if there's no compromise to be had, then usually the whole thing ends. It breaks up, becomes something from the ashes, something else emerges, or it just dies, At this point, I think we're at that I would say chrysalis. I'll call it a chrysalis. And I'm not really sure what's going to emerge from it, but I'm kind of like staying tuned right now. But with all of this, like including pop culture included, obviously, with all the things that we've kind of relied upon for our entertainment, basically often gets self in a very dramatic way, self-emulation. It's like, what's next? What are we looking for? What's coming? This stuff is going away. Who's going to step up and provide the like IPs for the next iteration of where we're headed? And I think it's kind of wide open at this point. What's your feelings on that?
So the problem is a lot of really good stuff actually already has been created.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with the evolution of the current paradigm is the algorithmically supported voices, the Friday Night types, aren't putting in the work to identify the good stuff.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
They will get in a circle and unzip their pants and reach to the right.
Right, exactly.
And that was like an obvious move for them because they know that the era of shitting on Disney is at an end.
Yeah.
Because it's all that can be said has been said at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why a lot of them went and made their own books, their own comics, their own whatevers.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is they spent the last, 5 to 15 years, some of them, focusing on being shock jock critique people, and they don't have the skill set to actually make something good. And then they just lie about, no, it's great. Well, it's better than Disney, isn't it? Well, it's better than that, so it has to be fantastic. They live in this binary of it's either terrible because it's the enemy, or it's fantastic because it's the friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So eventually things are going to rise up. And it's probably going to come out of video games. If you're seeing the success of Helldivers, of Lethal Company, it is going to be in a format that takes relatively low investment, with low for video games would be low coding, low graphics, or something, and you can iterate it quickly. and distribute it to a lot of people quickly. So
Right.
I don't think it's going to come out of the comic sphere because it simply takes too long to make a comic.
Yeah.
But you're seeing, like, if you pay attention to Lethal Company was an evolution of Phasmophobia, and which itself has spawned knockoffs. That is where the culture is going to end up going.
Well, I think the first big movement probably came out of movies. And
There's no indie movies.
well, I mean, I'm just saying that it went from like movies, and then went to like television for a while, and then it went, the culture kind of drifts from one genre will have more power over culture for a little while, and right now, I think you're right. I think I think for a little while, probably until something else emerges. I do think that gaming does seem to be where all the energy is, and it's probably where all the conflict is right now. They basically have captured AAA gaming, but all these smaller gaming companies that have like closed loops that they can't get into and infiltrate. Those are the real threat. And so you see the game journos, they're all toxic, look at this horrible thing they're doing, and then the gamers, because they don't understand gamers. They've never understood gamers. That's why Gamergate happened. Gamers are basically anti-establishment. Okay. Anything they see that's establishment, they go in another direction, even if it's a game that they've loved up to a point. If it gets too big, they're like, oh, I'm out, let the normies have it.
That's a false impression, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think you are severely underestimating how many gamers are sports gamers who just mindlessly buy the latest edition of FIFA, of NHL, of whatever. Those games sell millions and millions of copies for the same garbage every single year. And that is on top of the sheer amount of normies that buy and play every single copy or version of Call of Duty.
Right.
Another enormous block of gamers can't even be said to be political because it's Roblox kids.
Right.
Kids between like 10 and 16 are one of the most lucrative demographics.
Well, it was Minecraft and Fortnite for a while. I think it was Minecraft and Fortnite for a while there.
It is still Minecraft and Fortnite.
Okay. Well.
So the problem is all those groups I named are like by definition normies. They aren't engaged. They're not going to go make a fan wiki about the details in Call of Duty World War Zombies or whatever.
Right.
It's actually a very small amount of people that drive the quality of games and and are the ones that keep things like Hades as a breakout game. The people that found and supported Hollow Knight as a very good game.
Right.
So,
well,
we are unfortunately ruled by a stupid majority of normies.
Well, the thing about it is eventually the normies of, they'll be looking for something else. And, and so the counterculture is where they usually becomes a culture.
I am a creator. I should be obligated here saying, yes, they should come to us, man. I've got a new book right here, man, for sale.
Yeah, you probably should. You are pretty cynical, I have to say. I have to believe that eventually, us that are basically currently acting as the counterculture are eventually going to start, getting attention. And we're going to start being the movers and shakers, because that's been the pattern. All along, rock and roll was counterculture for a little while, and then it took over. Then hip hop was counterculture for a while, then it took over. And usually, it gets corporate and bloated after a while, and then people are looking for the
What
next
comes
hot thing.
before corporate and bloated is some people need to get outrageously good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Well,
not sure anyone is outrageously good at this stuff yet.
well, I will say that like the manga and the anime and the TV shows that are coming out of like Asian countries that are
Yeah, those are top-notch stuff.
yeah, and I really think that the next pop culture is not going to be American for a while until America's till America counterculture catches up, and so. I think you're going to see domination and coming out of the more Asian markets and more European markets, for a while. And I mean, I don't see anything on the horizon that America's doing that's going to, I mean, music wise, they're pushing Taylor Swift into everything. Taylor Swift. I mean,
that's an inside job.
She obviously, I mean, she's the musical equivalent of Cotton Candy. I mean, seriously, I mean, there's nothing there at all. But she's been pushed everywhere into everything and every genre and everything. But the thing about it is, eventually that gets hollowed out, and eventually it collapses on itself, and eventually, disco's a good example of this. I mean, it was an underground thing that was kind of cool. It's the kind of a niche thing, and everybody loved it. And then corporate's like, oh, I think there's potential there. And the old 70s
So
is
I
just like
spoke
everywhere.
with a lot of people about the fall of disco, actually, a lot of older people,
Mhm.
because I'm only 30.
Yeah.
Everyone I spoke to was actually the opinion that nothing actually happened to disco. They just got renamed to nightclubs.
Yeah. Right.
And
became
every
EDM
city
dance
still
music.
has nightclubs with dance floors.
Yeah, it became like EDM and dance, but it left the mainstream and kind of like became niche again. But I don't know. I mean, it's all cyclical. It's all cyclical. What we can definitely establish is that if I was a 40k fan, I would definitely be worried. I don't know. I mean, unless somebody comes in with some kind of authority and says, okay, what's going on here? Cut out the cancer, or cut off the limb that's atrophied here, and just get back to what makes what made us what we are.
Yeah, overpriced plastic. Let's go.
There you go. Exactly. She's a transport mogul's kid. Yeah, Taylor Swift. She's a plant. She's definitely a plant. But at the end of the day, I think that there is. I mean, it's pretty far along if it's starting to show up like this, but at the same time, I don't know if they've captured the upper echelon of Warhammer 40k yet.
Watch for fired social media managers.
Yeah, exactly. If they fire the social media managers and like kick a whole lot of people out the door in the next little while, you can probably say, okay, maybe we have a chance here. Yep. But if that doesn't happen, then look for another IP anyway, because it's coming.
All right, so I gotta slide out here because I'm gonna have to
all right
video for my channel. Thanks
no problem, man. We'll see you later. I'll watch that video as soon as I see it.
Thanks.
This
is my latest book.
There you go.
It's a Portal Fantasy. It's good.
All righty, man. If you got a wrench, go ahead and put those links in the chat before you leave.
I don't think I can, so I don't think I can put links in your chat, so I'm gonna put it in a private chat.
Okay, no problem. I'll do it.
Fun conversation.
All right, no problem. This is through your book?
Yeah.
All right.
Latest and greatest. It came out last week.
Okay.
Like so don't get confused when you see 0 reviews. Literally, it's still shipping to people.
Alrighty. I'll put that in there. There it is. Okay. All right. That's James James's book. Thank you for coming on, James. But anyway, so this is this was the first show. I guess I know what I'm going to title this one later. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to like title them and put the tags on them after the fact, after I know what the conversation became. Hopefully we'll have more people dropping in. You clicking the link. All right, see you around, man. Later, dude. Good luck with your video. But I think this is a good format for Mondays. You know, people just coming in. I think at weekend we usually after Monday, you know, a lot of us are off social media most of the weekend, and we're ready to kind of unload. And I'm hoping that as this show kind of like continues being consistent, people know if they want to vent their spleen, where they can find the links, and you know, if they want to like send me a DM, I'm going to do some vetting. There's some people who will never be on my show. You know, I hate to be closed-minded, but there are some people who are not going to make it onto the panel. They're just not. You know, I have my own personal biases, and I don't apologize for that. You know, I mean, there's just some people that I know are going to, you know, try to take over the show and make it their platform. And well, this is my show, this is my platform, and this is my channel. You know, I make no apologies for that. But I'm hoping that I have a lot of good friends. Shadow Punk, he comes on. Mr. Immortal Rising, he comes on from time to time. Frost Comics, you saw earlier. Jared, he comes on from time to time. Ken B, I'm hoping to get Ken B on one of these days. Come on, dude. You know, he's one of the coolest people I know. You know, Woke Breaker, I don't think he comes on streams, but he's always in the chat. Love to see that guy there. And, you know, I usually, some of the Genesis crew members like Pixel Trader will come on from time to time. And Pixel always has a, you know, great point of view. Mr. Will from Creators Outlet occasionally will pop on and make things a lot weirder. And, you know, a lot, yeah, shall we say a lot more risque, because it kind of throws around, you know, double entendre is like nobody. And sometimes I'm going to have some guests, people that want to come on and promote. You know, I'm going to leave this open here. Eventually, what I hope to do is make this into a podcast and start posting podcasts, some of the platforms. I've never entered into the podcasting space. And so basically, I'm not going to play a lot of videos. I'm not going to play a lot of things that aren't audio on this show, because eventually I do intend on it being a podcast. So anyway, if that sounds good to you guys that, you know, casually stop by the channel from time to time, if you want to hop on a panel and chew the fat, I'm all ears, and I want to know what you're thinking, as the song says. Anyway, that's been Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. If all hearts and minds are clear, if anybody has anything to promote, go ahead and leave it in the chat, and I'll post it right quick. I'll give it a little bit before I go. Anybody? Anyone? Nope. Not sending any links. All righty. Well, we'll consider all hearts and minds clear, and we will consider that that pretty much closing out. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you to Fluffiest Chat and all of YouTube. Remember, follow the White Rabbit, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.